Attraction. Subdivided in the best production. So here's the freedom for the lesson all alone in this recording. Canadian band Rush. In the high school halls, in the shopping malls, be cool or be left out. Subdivisions in the basement bars, in the backs of cars, be cool or be cast out. If I had to do, never had to choose another. Oh, hello. Dreams of you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Is this your Hike Up song?
We're just playing Subdivisions by Rush.
Good old Rush, you know.
Going old school, Sam.
Shall we?
Who's that in the hat?
Alexa, stop.
Stop playing music.
Anyway, this is my youngest son, Wyatt.
Hey, Wyatt. I'm Sam. How old are you, Wyatt?
I'm 20 years old.
My son is too. Did you get your pubes yet? My son didn't get his pubes yet.
Sam and I, no, he just learned how to go pee-pee standing up last week.
Yeah. It took me about, 5,000
It took the sequence. I finally taught him. I said, look, son, you can't sit on the toilet like your mom taught you. No, he's 20 years old, which is why I have no beer in the house.
Sheltering place together?
Well, he has an apartment, but it's not far away. So yeah, kind of together, and yeah, he goes to UT in Austin, and
great school.
And
yes, sir.
It sucks though because it's I would rather be in Austin too if I'm 20 years old, and and there's just all this classes.
Speaking of which, I'm going to Austin.
All right, bud. Be careful.
Nice to meet you, Wyatt.
Yeah, y'all too.
The sticker on your car is out of date, so don't.
I'll get it.
All right. He's a good boy.
Nice watching you parent.
I know, right? You can see I'm a great parent. Yeah. Your sticker on your car is 3 months out of date, so don't get pulled over. Well, Millicent was supposed to join, and then she couldn't, and then Jen was also supposed to join, but something's come up also, so it might just be me, which is it's okay. I can pull off an interview these days. I'm not that washed up. So first of all, thank you for joining us. We've got Mariah and Steve. Mariah and Pat Calagione and Sam. And we're sitting here, on day, I think, 65 of the sequester. So we wanted to check in with you guys and, first of all, let's talk a little business. Sam, you love to be out with people. I see it. I've seen it for 20 years. We've known each other that long. We were both broke at the same time, and then you got rich, and I'm still broke. And then but we've grown up together. And I'm glad you paid that bill, by the way. That's another story, but how are you dealing with not being able to travel and not seeing folks and being kind of tied at home?
Well, he's loving it.
I'll go first. You go next.
He's loving it. Okay.
Well, I gotta say, I've been enjoying watching your show. Mariah and I watched your episode with Jim and your episode with Adam and Kit.
Yeah.
I've heard it's like the third highest network show behind the Tiger King right now.
And it is very popular.
You nailed it. But it was interesting hearing how you and Melissa are navigating this moment too. Because like you, yeah, I love being out in the trade, and that's how you get a feel for how your brands are doing. And so you feel a little dislocated from that component of our work for sure. But you can tell that, that it's kind of wonderfully, in sync, that the flowers are starting to bloom and things are getting green at the same moment that we're starting to talk to restaurateurs and talk to distributors about, let's set this thing up, tentatively for June, somewhere outside, 8 of us outside talking about our business. So you can start seeing the baby steps happen to a degree, I think, this week that even 2 weeks ago you couldn't. And that even, dovetails with, news we got in our home state on a regulatory front, more clarity from our governor about a little more, at least hopefully not temporary, but a little more light at the end of the tunnel for when we can go out and play again, right? So it's getting better, I think. So I'm positive, but it's been kind of cool. It was nice meeting your son. My daughter's over there doing a puzzle. Sammy and I just got to fish for a couple hours. So while the kids are probably not liking being this stuck with us, the parents are kind of enjoying this unexpected moment to get back in touch with them at this age. What would you say, Mariah?
Yeah, I also think it's hard not to be able to go into the office every day and to the brewery and to the restaurants and the inn and just chat with our coworkers. It's one thing to see everyone on a screen like this, and it's amazing how quickly we are able to pivot to remote work with each other and still, do what we need to do to get the job done on a day-to-day basis. So there's technology, but there's a lot we're missing. And so just going into the office and, chatting with people in the stairwell, in the tasting room, in the lobby of the hotel, definitely missing that and looking forward to, as things open back up, getting back, where we can have face-to-face with our coworkers.
So, you're in Milton, Delaware, and I guess is your restaurant or hotel open at all right now, or no?
No, we closed the week before St. Patrick's Day. I think we were just ahead of the state mandate to close. So we closed all retail facing, consumer facing locations. So both restaurants, the hotel and the tasting room at the brewery have been shut down 100% since then.
We redeployed a lot of our hospitality coworkers to either help at the brewery, making food for our production coworkers, or helping to package our hand sanitizer out of our distillery, or some of them went up to our Pennsylvania location to help hand pack truly mixed 12-pack. So we're trying to keep everyone working, but there's now good information that we'll be able to at least partially open our hospitality location soon. In Texas, the stuff's semi-open. You did your first bar trip. Have you done more since that?
Wyatt and I just came from a bar. It was just a block away. And so I was like, hey, I gotta go do a call. We gotta go home. He's like, oh man. But I was like, you're driving to Austin anyway. You can't, he just had a beer. He's 20, but I know the owners. Anyway, it's one of those deals. But it's Texas is. Millicent's driving to Dallas to see family, and she's like, I-35's packed. The main interstate highway. She's like, everybody is out. I mean, people are dying to get out, I think. And this bar and restaurant that I go to a block away it's a nice place, but they say only 20% or 25% capacity. And I was like, this place is packed.
Oh, geez.
I had a scarf on at least. I think people are getting really cabin fever. And I don't think on-premise is going to open up, just blast to the past. But I do think people are eager to just get out. I mean, it's been 65 days of just being alone. And I've got my dog here at least. Yeah. Are you taking notes? I hope so. Yeah.
Gonna write a book.
Yeah, she's going to write a book. But okay, so so you got kids kind of sequestering at home, I assume. Colleges or schools are shut down, and so Mariah or Sam, how are y'all sharing the? What are your kids doing for schooling? Are they just on their laptops?
Yeah, our son is actually this week finished his finals for his sophomore year at college. He goes to Brown University in Providence, so he came home right before his spring break, so emptied out his dorm room and moved home. And then our daughter goes to boarding school in Western Massachusetts, left there for spring break, assuming she'd be coming back. So she's been home doing her classes. She has another week of classes. And at some point this summer, we're going to have to drive and, empty her dorm room and get all her stuff back. But
oh man, I mean, yeah, you guys are right in my bailiwick. That's exactly why it's a sophomore at UT. And I said right after spring break, I said go to Austin and get your shit, just bring it home. And I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so home is a relative term. But yeah, I got him another apartment just across the street because I can't have him. It's too small in here. But yeah, and my other sons are in place. But all right,
doesn't he having his own apartment?
Oh, he loves it, but he's like, it's not nearly as nice as mine, of course. So he spends a lot of time over here. But I enjoy it. We're pretty much self-trained place, and I saw Millicent for the first time yesterday in 2 months. So
on your Instagram.
Yeah. and you know who was jealous? The friggin' dog. The dog pawing at my leg. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're being a cock block. Get out. And she's like, I spent every second literally with this dog for 60 days.
That's why.
Yeah. And she's got serious separation anxiety now. And I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to have to hire some kind of dog psychiatrist. I don't know. Good Lord of mercy. So anyway, let's, you guys, y'all merged with Boston Beer right before this happened. Well done. How has that gone? Is there any surprises or anything that kind of struck you as, wow, I didn't anticipate this or that by being with a larger public company?
You got anything?
Well, I think across the board, our coworkers, as they've gotten to work with our BBC-wide coworkers, are like, wow, they're just like us. And we're like, yeah, we told you that, but you didn't realize that until you actually start working together. So I think, it's been great to have more thought partners. We had 400, just shy of 400 coworkers to sort of bounce ideas around and off of each other. So that's been very helpful, of course, to have people with a lot more different kinds of world experience out there, particularly going through something like this. We've had people that come from, very different worlds now that can bring some experiences to the table that we on our own wouldn't have been able to do. So that's been great.
Yeah, and I would add, when we announced the merger and talked with you and Jen and Benj and stuff and started with, the main reasons.
Who else did you talk to?
Just you and Jen.
Okay.
Right. Talking to you guys. But we talked about the elevator pitch of the reason for the merger. Why we decided to do it was about how much complementary our two company cultures were, and how complementary our portfolios were, with our focus on IPAs and sours and spirits, and Boston Beer's strengths in cider and seltzer and lagers and seasonals and tea. And so that diversity really helps navigate unexpected moments like this, because, brands like Dogfish and Sam Adams maybe over-index on-premise because we have a bigger draft play, but Truly and tea kick-ass off-premise. So taking more advantage of the pantry loading moment on those brands. So that breadth of brands in a moment like this can really act as a shock absorber as you acclimate to the moment, instead of kind of being on a pogo stick where you better fucking land that brand every day. That's a reason that I'm definitely really glad that we made this decision, and the timeliness that you spoke to. But it's also really cool to just see, like, Dave Berwick as a leader, CEO, in this navigating this challenging moment, and watching our executive leadership just rise to the challenge, and how like agnostic he's been on, all right, his attention on supply chain versus sales versus marketing. you know, he's been really great about making sure we're staying focused on every component of our business to navigate this moment. And, you know, especially thinking of our production coworkers, like so many of us that get to work remote. If you want to, as Millicent said, people are dying to get out right now. So the cabin fever, that's their personal choice. They're like, fuck it, I might die, but I'm going to go out and make this choice. Whereas we as people that can work at our jobs from offices can say that, yeah, fuck it, I want to go out and take that risk. Our production people, frankly, don't have that choice. Their jobs mean they have to go there. So I think I want to give massive shouts our coworkers in Ohio, Milton, and PA, getting out there and making the shit happen that is allowing us to be weathering the storm relatively well.
I mean, listen, Sam, I agree with you. I bless my lucky stars that I can work from home and still get paid. And you know, God bless that beer is essential. Unlike think of the poor folks in Mexico that can't even get a tequila or a beer. And, you know, I was at this bar I said earlier, and Wyatt ordered a Dos Equis. I said, good luck, brother. He goes, why?
You out of stock soon, you think?
Oh yeah, they're out of stock all over. And he goes, what do you mean, Dad? And I said, I don't know if you know this, but I work in the beer industry, and it's what pays for your college and your housing. And so yeah, it's my job to know, you dumbass. Of course I know when Dos Equis is out of stock. I mean, come on. How do what, Dad? What? How do you know it's out of stock? I mean, what? Do these people know what we do? Do your children know what you do, what you went through? I read your book, Brewing Up a Business. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And Mariah, God bless you for sticking by this stupid-ass pipe dream. Honestly.
Yeah, don't give any spoilers.
Oh, well, he gives a lot of mad props to you. And so, Mariah, tell me about your work. You do a lot of social media, so, you know, that lends itself to at least not having to. But how has your life changed?
Well, you know, every meeting and conversation now, of course, is on a video screen, which is convenient, but not the same. But yeah, so I work mostly with our social team and our marketing folks, our hospitality folks, in terms of working with figuring out, navigating our state sort of and city and county politics right now, what we can and can't do. So I've been working a lot with on that front, and also with our beer and benevolence program, which has really been focused on the hand sanitizer business and how we can, you know, figure out how to get the sanitizer to the people that need it in Delaware. So yeah, it's been a little bit different, but you know, a lot of the same stuff. The challenge with social stuff is, you know, we still want to appropriately be engaged with our consumers, and we need to be able to get the content that we need. So we've been, you know, leveraging a lot of our, our user-generated content, so our customers and what they're posting, which has been kind of fun and actually gotten really great engagement. But, you know, making sure that we have stories to keep telling. So luckily it's our 25th anniversary, so we have a lot of good reason to do Throwback Thursday pictures and that kind of stuff. That's great.
Yeah, and you know, I run our social media, obviously, you know, such as it is, and you know, my social media is based a lot upon levity and making crass jokes and stuff like that, which is not appropriate at this time. So I've been just dialing it back a little bit, and you know, trying to be appropriate, but it is hard.
So you're ready to release the hounds?
I am ready to release the hounds of war. So I heard a rumor, Mariah, that there was a guy that used to work at Dogfish Head. I think his name was Bill, and he had a flatulence problem during meetings. Can you tell us a little more about this Bill that I hear about?
I've been talking to Adam Lambert.
Well, you did see he was on my.
Yeah, we did. We watched the episode.
We watched it. Yeah, I didn't hear him talking about Bill.
I cut that part out because I wanted to save it for now to get a live reaction.
Yeah, we had a fun afternoon. We did have a coworker who had a bit of a challenge with that issue. We were in an all company meeting, a much smaller company. This is many years ago. And, you know, he was having his issues, but didn't realize that it was like something that everyone else was noticing. And you know how sometimes you just get started laughing and you can't stop no matter what, even though you know it's completely inappropriate. Well, I had one of those moments, and then Adam, you know, across the room, where all of our coworkers are here, and our poor coworker Bill is having these issues, and I just couldn't stop laughing. And here I am, like, you know, one of the owners of the company, and I'm like, I can't do anything. So I had to leave the room, and Adam, like, I had tears coming to my face across the room. Adam was doing the same thing. So we tried to be discreet, but I you know, looking back, there's no way we were discreet, but it was a very.
So could you hear it or could you just smell it? I mean, listen.
It was more of an audible thing, but he was an older guy. He'd come out of retirement.
Yeah. Listen, as an older guy myself, I completely.
I don't know if he heard it. We could hear it.
But, you know, farts to me are still the funniest thing ever. I mean, I still die laughing at fart jokes. And you know, I read, you know, in like Mesopotamia caves or, you know, times, the first joke ever written down was a girl sitting on, you know, like a pharaoh's lap and like smoke coming out of her butt. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. That was the joke. And, you know, it was early times, but still kind of funny. You know, I get a little giggle about, you know, a girl pooping. You know, it's funny.
Right.
Right. As a father of 3 sons, fart jokes have been a regular diet in my library of humor. So when Sam, when do you anticipate flying on an airplane again? Because I don't know when I don't have any plans.
You know, I was chatting with John Geist, our sales leader, about this and saying, because we have a focus month in July with our distributors for Dogfish. It'll be oriented more off premise than on, but you know, we believe that'll be kind of the first month that on-prem starts getting some volume. So I was hoping to go out in June and visit with some of our distributors just to talk through what we were going to do together. And, you know, as we talked about with John, his advice was, you know, if you can do it in small groups outside, knock yourself out. And if you can drive to that distributor, you know, knock yourself out doing it safely. So I kind of agree that my thoughts is I probably won't be getting on any airplanes through July, and then see where the news is at after that. What's the first thing that you have on your schedule that isn't canceled yet that would necessitate airplane travel?
I'm so bad at dates, but I know I'm scheduled to speak at a couple of distributor conventions later in the summer. Yeah. I think Missouri and I don't know, South Carolina or something. I don't anticipate going. I know that I was supposed to speak at a user group for around accounting firm, and I'm just going to do it over Zoom, you know, which is nice. Yeah. I mean, I hate not traveling, but I have to admit I've saved a lot of money. Good Lord. I didn't know how much I spent on travel until I stopped. And I was, you know, looking at my accounting, and I was like, holy shit, I was out of control with my travel. Because, you know, I don't know if you know this, Sam, but distributors stay at nice places. You know, it's not like you're traveling to a Holiday Inn. You know, you're going to some plantation with the, you know, it's a Ritz-Carlton, and it's, you know, $800 a night. And sometimes they pay and sometimes they don't. So yeah, I've saved a lot on travel.
Well, Harry, your events are pretty pimped out too. We've stayed at some nice places going to your events too.
Oh, listen, I've listened to you bitch about the bar tab that you had to pay one time. It was, you know, good Lord, you would have died how embarrassing this was, Mariah. I didn't know I was going to have to pay for all this beer that I bought for everybody. I was like, well, you know, that's Sam. That's typically how it goes.
I served Palo Santo to a room full of the entire conference, but it was in like a union facility, and he sent me the fucking union bill, and it had like 2 more zeros than I was assuming it would.
They call it a corking fee.
Yeah, corking fee. You fucking corked me that.
He didn't know about the corking fee. He probably goes, man, I brought all the beer. If I gave the beer, I was like, yeah, but the Union Hotel. He goes, so I was like, here's a $4,000 bill. And Sam was like, that's our entire marketing budget for the quarter. This is a long time ago. But I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm as broke as you are. I can't pay it. That was those were early times, man. Like I say, you and I grew up in the business, we're the same age, believe it or not. I've seen the industry's aged to be faster than you, but yeah, we grew up kind of together in it, and it's been a good time. But man, I've been poor and I've been not poor, and I sure do prefer the latter. I don't know about you.
And you mentioned you were just out at a bar with your son, and this is American Craft Beer Week. You're going out to bars. Have you been able to take advantage of any local breweries around yours offerings like curbside? I was watching what's going on. I saw Jester King and a bunch of folks down there trying to amplify a dialogue to get fair in-state opportunities versus what's offered in other states. What's going on down there with the small indie craft breweries?
Yeah, definitely curbside has been a boon. I'm in San Antonio, not Austin. So we have Freetail, Blue Star, and a few Alamo, and a few breweries here that are doing curbside, and they're doing okay, but it's still only 15% of their total business that they were doing. And so, yeah, it's been rough, but we are opening up the state faster than other states, for good or bad, for good or ill. I don't know which, I don't know. I know that, I've survived several car crashes and a plane crash and stuff. I can survive a coronavirus. Trust me. I know I don't look that healthy, but trust me, I'm not compromised. But yeah.
Do you think a year from now there'll be, because on the docket, the schedule, if you look at the TTB, there was scheduled to be at least another 1,000 commercial breweries opening. Do you think as we weather this moment between openings and closing, a year from now, we'll be up in the number of commercial brewing licenses in America to where we are today? Or
absolutely not. I can't even imagine opening anything right now. And then, breweries in planning, I think you might as well scrap that. And then the other breweries that relying on tap rooms for most of their income, I would say at least 40% of them are not going to reopen. On the other hand, you have companies like Austin East Ciders, which is opening their first brew pub restaurant in Austin in June or July.
That was planned before COVID, or was that a new thing?
Yeah, it was in planning, but they decided to continue with construction, which is a ballsy fucking move, I think, on their part. And I tip my hats to them because, Austin will be the last to open up. San Antonio we're practically in Mexico. It's lawless down here. But Austin still has stay-at-home orders. Their restaurants have not opened up, even though the governor the Governor Abbott is in the state house is in Austin. He has no control over Austin. So Austin.
What's the university saying for the fall? Have they put out any guidance as to whether they'll start classes in the fall? The university.
No, I think that they want to. I have not heard anything. So far, Wyatt is just taking his classes on Zoom, which basically to me means that the reason he got straight A's for the first time is because he can cheat. And because I
was working on a puzzle across the room right now, and I just saw her smile and wave her head like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So but he even complained to me. God bless him. He said, Dad, I want to get back to classes because I feel like I'm not learning anything. Yeah, I'm making straight A's, but I'm really not learning as nearly as much as I were when I went to physical classes, which I think is interesting. Because my initial gut feeling was, oh, this is kind of a kick in the gut to higher education, and maybe it'll improve because it's so expensive, right? I mean, it's inanely expensive, and it probably shouldn't be because you can do this online. But what I have learned, at least through, I have two sons in school, is that they miss going to the classes and they're not learning as much. They're learning, some, but it is easier to cheat. So, yeah, it's, I tell you, guys, things are going to be so different going forward. And, one of the things, is the level of interaction with distributors, with ride widths and not so much with your company, but what I've heard is like from the bigger brewers, distributors are kind of relieved that they don't have to go to so many damn meetings and kind of meaningless meetings that don't, Miller Coors today just had their spring conference online. And a lot of distributors I talked to are like, this is awesome. I don't have to leave my office, my home, I don't have to travel to Vegas and, which sucks for my business because, being in the conference business. But
how do you think it'll change, like coming out of this and you hear so many companies that are going to allow folks to continue to work from home because they've learned that they can still be efficient because we had to figure out a way to get efficient. How do you think this will most change your company and your platform post?
I'm the interviewer here. I am Harry Schumacher for Beer Business Daily. Who the hell are you asking me questions? Good Lord. God damn. How do you think it's going to be different? How about that? I just throw it right back at you.
How's your conference going to be different?
Yeah, we probably won't have it. I mean, if this continues, because my conference is supposed to be in late January. If we have a second wave, then obviously we'll just cancel. And plus, it takes 6 months to plan. So if we're in July and I can't get speakers, we'll just have to wait and see. I hope we can have it. I think the timing would be good, late February, late January, for people to kind of get back to see each other if we have a vaccine and or it's contained. But nobody's going to get on a plane if it's like it is today. But yeah, I mean, what was your question?
I said so, and I'll do what you said because you invited us and you are the interviewer. So I'll say post-COVID how I think our industry will change the most. I do think we've said on-premise is going to be slow to come back, but I think there's no doubt it will come back. I'm more optimistic. You throw out a massive number of what breweries won't make it through here. We got to remember that craft brewers are used to being, a bunch of Davids up against Goliaths and getting our teeth kicked in. And even a bunch of us remember the days before the late 90s when we first had to get traction in the marketplace. And it's kind of like a reset moment. So I think it's in our DNA to figure out a way to survive. I think it's really important that we have I think at this moment, one of the good things is it's brought better alignment between the Beer Institute, NBWA, and Brewers Association. It's like, holy shit, now we see that a lot of the stuff we were wasting a lot of energy on isn't going to move the needle in this like existential moment. It's been a while since we faced an existential moment. So that's cool. And I think if we can get that excise tax thing locked down, that's going to help the number that you said could be 40% going away. That excise tax thing, I think, is a massive part of that. And then governors listening to each other in the short term and getting a little bit more ambitious to figure out a way to allow the capitalists as much as the health leaders to work on the best way to navigate our way out of the COVID moment. But I do think traveling post COVID is for street level salespeople is going to continue to be a fraction of what it is. Because like you gave the Miller Coors conference example, I bet if you talk to people tomorrow, they'll be like, I actually was more productive sitting in my living room taking notes than I would have been if I flew to Arizona, got shit-faced 3 days in a row, was looking all around a room. Not that that's what I do. That's not that's what I do at your conference, but
Kelly, what's wrong with that? I missed that.
I'm working. I have to go to a conference.
Oh man, I tell you, I know you guys have non-beer friends outside the industry, and don't they just be like, you guys, God, it's such a blessed life. I know I do, and everybody's like, wait, what? You're traveling to, Florida to see this beautiful, Ritz-Carlton, and yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but it is. God, boy, I love it. Yeah, but go ahead. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong on that 40%. That just seems a number that's, I don't know why it's in my head, but that may be high, and I sure as hell hope it is.
If you think of the fact that I think the average of the 8,000 craft breweries sells less than 1,000 barrels, and you're right, they're fucked in this moment if they can only do takeout and to-go and stuff. But you also got to remember that meant that they didn't go into millions of dollars of debt to open a tiny brewery that was, less than 1,000 barrels. And maybe they're married to a spouse that is in an industry that their job's totally shut down and they're getting $1,000 a week to not work. I think a lot of those smaller companies can weather this pretty easily because they didn't bet the farm on debt. I don't know what you think, Mariah. We've visited a bunch of our local small craft breweries in Delaware by bike and walking and trying to support the little guys. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what everyone's individual circumstances are, but you don't know that. But, I would agree that hopefully the smaller breweries have less, sort of back end and debt and, unless there's like 4 or 5 different partners involved in it. And, then, you're cutting up the pie. So it's hard to say, but I don't think it's easy on anybody, whether you're in the beer industry or not. Everybody's got challenges.
And and then the PPP loan would help, because I know a lot of brewers have applied for that and gotten some help with payroll. The fear is, you can see my dog walking around. The fear is, of course, is if I'm right and 40% do go, but there's gonna be a lot of stainless steel out there that you don't really want out there, because empty tanks mean cheap beer, from my experience. I mean, you were around. You guys both were around in the 1998 period, and I just hope this doesn't evolve into a shit show of cheap, outdated, lousy beer, because that could hurt us. That could hurt the whole industry more than.
Particularly because we have a lot more educated consumers than we had in 1998. Like 1998,
right.
People are like, "Oh, this is what craft beer is supposed to taste like," and people are drinkers are much wiser and more educated and more experienced with craft beer than they were then. So there's less margin for error in terms of trying to pass off bad beer. But you're right. If it is passed off, it won't help us. So we gotta we have to have each other's backs.
Yeah. Right. And I also, I guess social media would nip it in the bud faster too. Back in 98, you could throw out 2 truckloads of bad beer before anybody even noticed. Today, that doesn't fly. Am I right?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, because there was no Untapped back then where
Right.
people could vote, and there's definitely a belief now that more and more decision makers at retail, whether on premise or off premise, than 3 years ago, that local doesn't equal awesome. There's tiny local breweries that are awesome, but for a while there, it seemed that a lot of brewers were kind of getting away from just, I'm local, that's why you should have me in your retail location. And I think there's a better understanding now that local doesn't equal awesome. especially because as so many tiny breweries have been unable to be open because they're essentially like restaurant model breweries, it means that consumers that might have gotten enamored of that wait in a line at a hot shit cult brewery for my $17 4-pack were like, oh, fuck, I can't do that. So I went to the store and I bought a top 20 IRI defined craft beer that I remember, you know, getting into for the first time I drank craft. And then they're like, holy shit, that's good. That's bulletproof. The quality's there. There wasn't any exploding cans. And they're recognizing that maybe the path forward is being more judicious with both tiny breweries and breweries that are of craft breweries that are flavorful and of scale, but available through the 3-tier system.
Yeah.
I'm obviously biased when I say that, but we do see that happening. And as I talk to distributors, they see that happening too. Because even you look at we know the Brewers Association's average member is really challenged in this moment. But if you look at the Brewers Association defined craft is up something like 20% because our volumes with our biggest members, and generally consumers are gravitating when they're pantry loading towards those classic, durable craft brands. And that's kind of lifting the whole ship in terms of what the data set looks like right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also it's gone on a lot longer, in other words, than I thought it would. I mean, talking about pantry loading, I mean, it's spiked up and down, but it's still very strong. And obviously that's because most people can't go out on the on-premise, but to me, it's been a surprise. A lot of pundits smarter than I predicted that the pantry loading would just end probably a month ago, and that everybody would be down double digits, and only a few people are down double digits, but it's remained fairly strong for like you say, those legacy brands that people trust and flock to. So well, great. We're over 30, but what else? Any final thoughts to my readers, to distributors?
It's supposed to be 30. I thought it was supposed to be an hour. I'm not going to keep you a whole hour, but
we can go in hours. There's no law,
COVID laws.
COVID laws.
Yeah, COVID laws. Good Lord, I can't believe.
Coffee, you're going on the bench. Alcohol, you're in. Suit up.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone either way. Honestly, we could be shit out of luck right now. But I think politicians they protect themselves, right? And they're like, if we don't give the people their booze and their beer, they will freaking revolt, especially in the Midwest.
Colorado for a couple hours?
Yes, it happened in Colorado. It happened a little bit in Mexico where they did shut it down, but whoa, man. Yeah, it's.
So I got an intimate question for both of you as two of my intimate long-term friends. Other than alcohol, what are you and Millicent pantry loading in your house? What other consumer goods are you like, oh shit, I can't run out of that?
Easy cheese and crackers with Tabasco. That has kind of been my go-to meal.
Easy cheese with aerosol in the can?
Yeah.
Classy.
You got them littered on the floor back there?
I think. So
you doing whippets with them?
No, I'm not that bad. One of my sons is also my weed dealer, so I've been smoking more weed, which I never did that much, but there's nothing else to do. And then my dog gets Scooby snacks. They're little Scooby. I keep them right here. And look, she gets all excited. You want a Scooby snack? All right. And so we've had our little indulgences. I have gained weight. Millicent saw me for the first time in 2 months yesterday. And when I say she saw me, I mean she saw me.
It's hot.
And yeah, it's hot. You said, is this going to be porny?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, and she remarked upon my weight. It's a little bit out of.
Your dog was pissed at you. Your woman was pissed at you. This is like a country song COVID moment.
I had to literally put my dog in the car so that we could have relations. because the dog wasn't allowing. The dog was having none of it. I had to put the dog in my fucking car. Turn the AC on, and there's somebody painting the vents out there, and he's like, "You're gonna leave that dog in the car?" I'm like, "Shut up! I got laid too much. Just go back to work. I'll have the AC on. 65. Jeez, mind your own damn business. You know, God, everybody's into everybody's chili right now. Yeah, I hear you.
Nice. Mariah, what about you?
Yeah.
Learning. We have our 2 kids at home, which normally isn't the case. So we've been pantry loading everything because all 4 of us are just eating a lot. So cookies, chips.
Smart food.
Smart food.
Has the word smart in it. It must be healthy.
Yeah.
We've been going to the liquor store a lot more because we're not working at the brewery. So we run down the street and resupply a couple times a week. So yeah, that's fun.
LaCroix. We're hitting the LaCroix early in the day.
Coffee,
Yeah, see, we're down in South Texas. We're Topo Chico people.
Oh, yeah. But didn't that just get bought by someone?
Coca-Cola, yeah. Coke. Do you hear this? She's, ooh, like, because I'm not giving her attention, because I'm giving you attention. I'm like,
it's supposed to be half an hour. I'm keeping you,
yeah.
cutting into your dog time.
Yeah, good Lord. I mean, yeah, I hear you. Good Lord. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't keep both of them happy. I think I'm going to choose the girl.
Yeah. Do that. Do that. Always wise.
Damn.
All right, well, Harry, this has been great fun. And any closing? What do you got to close?
Yeah. Listen, I bought a keyboard. I was going to learn how to play the piano, and I got about 5 minutes into that before my ADD set in, and now it's sitting, upside down on the couch.
There's still time.
There is still time.
Is there any new hobby you did pick up?
What's that?
Was there any? I picked up fishing because my son's into fishing and I never liked it. But
Saltwater? You're on the bay there, right?
Yeah, yep. Saltwater. It's like right there in the couch. So I picked up a hobby. Is there any hobby you did pick up?
I've always been a fisherman, so one of my sons in particular is a great fly fisherman, saltwater and fresh. And I've always played the guitar a little bit, so I've been picking around on that a little better. And my son, the one you just met, is a really good guitarist. So he comes over and we have our guitars back there and a little amp, which I'm sure our neighbors love. And yeah, I hear you. This guy is an important beer industry leader. His wife, they are founders of a major craft brewery. I hear you. Anyway.
She's telling us it's time.
Yeah, I mean, God, do you know, these are the Calagiones. Oh, by the way, did you hear me on Jim's call when I said, you not only bought some great brands, but you bought the Calagiones.
Like we're indentured servants.
Yeah, right. I know. And right when it came out of my mouth, I realized that might have been insulting to y'all. But I mean, what I meant is you add value to more than the purchase price of the value of the brands. I mean, and he said, to his credit, he goes, "Oh yeah." Like, but you should have seen his expression. His expression wasn't on the camera when I said it, but I could see him, and I could tell he was like, "Where is this going?" Well, they're not slaves, I was like, "Yeah, you bought the Calagione." Anyway, lo siento on that. You know what I meant though by it is you guys are. Yeah, I mean, you guys are national treasures, and
those are you, Harry.
Well, thanks for being on the call.
Your dog's pissed at you.
Calm down.
She wants to go back in the air conditioning of the car.
No, it's an electric car, so their AC can run forever without any problem. You plug the damn thing in.
It's almost like a guest house.
No, so I folded the back seats down and threw a mattress back there. I could sleep. I have slept in it. When I go camping at the ranch with my son, we went a couple weeks ago. I just put the AC on, slept on the mattress with the dog. Yeah, it's a what's it called? It's a Tesla model, the small one, the cheap one, the Model whatever the new, I don't know. But it's great. It's the best thing. Listen, get one. Not expensive. I love this thing. It takes time to charge and all that bullshit, but I have time.
Her sister's Mariah's more like a Peloton spokesperson, and her sister's a Tesla spokesperson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Listen, I need a Peloton bad.
I got one. It's awesome.
Well, I am. My tennis league is starting back on Tuesday. Here.
When you get yours, let me know, and I'll give you the secret account to follow for all of our Boston Beer coworkers that have them, and we all spin and do classes together.
Oh, I would love for beer people to see my fat ass sweating on a Peloton. Do you know who I am, Mariah? I'm a little bit of a celebrity in the industry. You can't have me.
Yes. We won't expose you.
Jeez.
A lot of celebrities with these bikes.
Yeah, they'll start filming me on there, putting it on the Instagrams.
Yeah, we'll put up your stats.
My stats, yeah. Well, hey guys, great happy hour. And listen, have a good weekend. It's so good to talk to you. Let's do it again.
Yes.
And
Like next time.
I will. I'll get Millicent back on here, and she'd love to talk to you.
I'm going to stay vigilant that we're going to be at your conference in January. It's going to happen.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. And listen, we'll have you speak, you know.
Be awesome.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Stay safe, Barry.
Bye.
Your job is to turn on the grill.
Holy, did you move it outside?
Yeah.
Holy